What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're checking out for Tier List Thursday. We are doing all PlayStation consoles from PlayStation 1 all the way to the PlayStation 5. So if you guys have any suggestions for future tier lists, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to do this tier list yourself, I will leave a link to this tier list in the description below. Go ahead, check that out. Do it yourself. Take a screenshot, send it to me on my various social medias. Also, I already did a version of this with the Xbox consoles ever since the first one in the description below, so check that out if you want to. So as usual for my tier list videos, we have amazing, we have good, we have okay, we have bad, and we have booty. You don't want to be on the booty spot. Don't get me wrong, booty's good here and there, but in this case, it ain't good booty. So before we jump in, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn notifications for more. Now with that said, let's begin, baby. Okay, for our first one, we have the PlayStation 1. And for me, I always thought it looked okay. And the reason for this is I hadn't actually seen a PlayStation 1 until I got a PlayStation 2. So my PlayStation 2, in my opinion, always looks so much better than the PlayStation 1. So I don't think it's necessarily an ugly console. It's not very good looking either. So I'm going to put it in the okay spot. Now, we're talking about a bad looking console. The PlayStation 1 Mini. I never liked that thing. I just feel like its corners are too round, you know. It kind of feels like it's trying to be extra, and it doesn't have to do that. And for me, it's bad. Not booty, but it's bad. Next one, the PlayStation 2. This is just a good-looking console. Can't say it's amazing. There have been consoles since that have blown this one out of the water, but as far as things go, it was sleek. It was chubby, of course, but it wasn't that chubby at the time. So I gotta put it at good for sure. Oh, I should probably mention this before I get too far into the PS2 section of this video. The PlayStation 2, while in America had like 3 different colors released, in Japan there was like 7. Like red, blue, a green version, I think. A bunch of different colors besides the original black. So I'm just going to be going off of what the American colors had and which ones I saw growing up / found out from like friends and stuff, because these were the only ones I had. So with that said, let's jump in. Okay, so we have the blue hollow version, and I always really like this one, but for me, I do think the black version is a little more sleek. I do appreciate the blue hollow, and I think it's still a very good looking console overall, but I think the black is a little more sleek. And it's the same thing with the silver PlayStation 2. I just think that the silver doesn't look as good on the chunky boy. You know, it might be different on the slim, but as far as the chunky boy goes, I might actually put a little bit in front of the blue version. But I think that looks like a good spot to put that. Now we come to the PlayStation 2 Slim. Now a fun fact about this is actually I got one right after my PlayStation 2 burned out, because I never had a PlayStation 2 memory card until I got a Slim. So if I was in the middle of a game, I would legit just have to keep my console on constantly. So if I was going to school, I would keep my console on, come back, play. When I was done, I'd go to sleep, wake up, go to school, come back, play more. So I would like burn this thing out. And the PlayStation 2 did surprisingly last me a long time doing that, but eventually it did burn out, and I had to get the Slim. For me, I always thought the Slim was a better looking console. I know a lot of people don't like the flip up part, and I'm not a massive fan of that. I was always more of a fan of the tray, but I think that aesthetically speaking, the Slim PS2 is just a very good looking console altogether. And not just because it's, you know, a slicker version of the PS2, but because it's actually like this big. It goes anywhere. I always just remember being like, how did you fit all the stuff that goes in this into this little thing? How'd they do that? I remember thinking that, and I always thought that was cool. Later on, my sister actually got a silver version of a PS2 because I was always hogging mine, so she got a silver version. I always thought that looked really good, but I thought the black looked better. But then they released a white version of the Slim PS2, and for me, that took the spot. It looks so good. The black version was sleek, but the white version was just so much more plain and like beautiful. It had something about it, just so much better in my opinion. So as far as things go, I can't put it at amazing, but it's almost there. It goes in the good spot. Next, we jump into the PS3. For me, I think the PS3 is a very pretty console. I personally didn't have a PS3. I skipped that one. I actually jumped to the 360 then, and I was a 360 guy for a long time. Until, you know, Microsoft botched the Xbox One release, and then I ended up jumping back into PS4 anyways. As far as things go, I have to admit, while the PS3 was a big bulky boy, a big chunky boy, I'm going to put it a little bit in front of the PS2. I think that's a good spot to put that right there. Now, I think there was actually two different versions of the original PS3. At first they released the black version that was shiny, and then they released a matte version that wasn't shiny because people were complaining about their PS3s getting scratched like that. And so they fixed it. But overall, I wouldn't really say they're that much different, so I'm not going to make a different category for them. They're both the same for me as far as that goes. But then we have the silver PS3, and I gotta say that one is better looking. It's still not as good as the PS2 Slim, aesthetically speaking, but I'd say it's definitely better than the original PS3. Actually, I think that comes from the fact that the original concepts for the PS3 was silver, and then they changed it to black with the silver trim, and they eventually brought the silver version back as kind of a re-release, as hey, you guys wanted the original look? There it is. It's a good thing they didn't bring back the controllers, though. Those original PS3 controllers looked like Batman boomerangs. I'm not kidding. Not a fan. No, I'm not. Okay, next one. The first PS3 Slim. Very good looking console. It's probably the best looking console from the PS3 era, in my opinion. It's way better than the original one. It surpasses the PS2 Slims. Super good. And then there's the silver version, and this is the one case where I might actually put the silver version behind the black version. I did that with the Slim too, but for these, two friends of mine, one had the black version, one had the silver version, and I always thought the black version just looked better. The original PS3 was built with the initial idea was it was supposed to be silver, and then they changed it to black, and you can tell the silver was supposed to be the original thing that they changed, and so you can kind of get that detection from it, and it pulls it back a little bit. With this one, the Slim was built to be black, and then they turned it silver, and because of that, it just kind of looks like they took a step back instead of going a step forward, like something you would see with the white version of the Slim. So for me, the black PS3 Slim is the better one in my opinion. Oh no. Then we have this PS3. You know what? This is a booty. That's a booty PS3. That's the one with you open it up, you slide the door over, you put the disc in, you slide it back. Terrible design. So dumb. From what I heard, they wanted to cut back on some money, so they pretty much cheaped out on the disc drive. But then I heard this console had so many problems as far as the disc drive goes. But not only is that an issue, but for me, it's just the ugliest looking console. Especially when you come off one of the best looking consoles. The original PS3 Slim is one of the best looking PlayStation consoles. So to just immediately release this one right after it, it was a joke, for sure. I really don't like that one. Next one, we have the original PS4. Now, there were also two different releases on the PS4, much like the PS3. There was the PS4 with a half gloss, half matte black, and then they released a full matte black version slightly later after there were scratches. I guess Sony doesn't really learn their lesson when it comes to things like that, because they're still releasing that shiny black on their consoles, and it gets scratched up really quick. I'm looking at you, PS5. So, as far as things go, I'm going to count them as the same because they are, technically the same. But the PS4 console, I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to probably put it right in front of the PS2 Slim White. Looks good, but there are better consoles later on. Next, we have the PS4 Destiny 1 version. Now, the interesting thing about this console is the first Destiny had two different console bundles. They had one with the Destiny limited edition type of console, which is this one, and then they had a Destiny White version, which is just a regular PS4 with a white paint job pretty much on it. And for me, I like this one. I think it's I can't put it in okay. I was gonna put it in okay. It's probably right around here. I think the original PS3 is a little better than that, just because for me, the extra decals when it comes from the developers of a game and Sony get together and they take the game and they smack it on top of the console. If it's subtle, it's fine, but sometimes they overdo it. I think that console personally is sort of subtle, but it does overdo it too much to the point where it gets pushed back on the list. So I'm going to put it right there. I think it's a good spot. Not an ugly console, just really, really okay. It's really okay, so I can't put it in the okay spot, but it's almost there. So that's what I'm going to say about that. However, when we're talking about a slick white PS4, that is one of the best looking consoles for sure. Still not amazing, but definitely better than anything else we've seen so far up to that point. Yeah, I can't really complain about that at all. Next one, they released a black slim version, which also personally is better than anything else. I keep saying that, but one thing that Sony definitely does right that sometimes Microsoft will falter on is the fact that every time they add to the consoles, like they make the next generation or the next iteration, they always make it look sleeker and sleeker and sleeker. Of course, they do have some setbacks here and there, and Xbox does that a lot more than PlayStation does. The best example is that that PS3, the second PS3 Slim, which was a way step back, but PS4 kind of brought that back, taking something that looks good and making it look a little better. Taking something that looks good, making it a little better. So I'm glad that Sony can do that. For example, about to say it right now, there is a white PlayStation 4 Slim, and I think this one is even better than the black PS4 Slim. Just looks so sleek. I love it. I think it looks so good. Not amazing, but I like it a lot. But there is one out of the PS4 Slims that's amazing, and it's the gold PS4. I have this PS4, and I've actually had it since its release back in like 2017, 2016. I don't remember when it got released, but this PS4 looks so good. And the gold on the PS4 just brings it all together, because not only is the PS4 Slim a good looking console, but the gold is like a matte gold. It doesn't slap you in the face. It doesn't try to be extra. You know, it's not trying to make itself look rich. It's trying to make itself look elegant, and it does. It's amazing, for sure. I currently don't have it with me. I have a buddy who's actually borrowing it right now. I would show it on screen, but yeah, it just looks so good. I actually have a video unboxing that. I'll leave a link to that in the description below if you want to check it out. That was a couple years ago now, but still looks just as good. I take care of my stuff, so for sure. For sure, one of the best consoles, and I'm not surprised if you look at the aftermarket sell on that thing. Oh man, I wish I would have bought 10 when they first got released. Man, I could have made my money back big time. We're talking like 5-6 times more than what I put into it. So that's the way it goes. Next, we have the Darth Vader limited edition PS4 Slim. I think it's good. I might put it maybe like right here in front of the PS3. But when it comes to just like the plain black with the Darth Vader, love Darth Vader. I love the black PS4 Slim, but I think together it's just like, it's good, but it's just good. Like, it's not anything special in my opinion. Now we're moving on to the PlayStation Black Pro version, and I never was a massive fan of the Pro. I really think it was a step back, especially after the Slim, and the reason for that is because it just looks like a PlayStation 4 with an extra patty on it. It's a sandwich. So where would I put this? I might put this like back here. Yeah, it's good. It's just there's nothing really special about it. And this is one of the cases where usually when they make a white version of a black console, or they make a black version of a white console, I think it improves the overall look. But the PlayStation 4 Pro white version definitely looks better than the black version, but it's still like not as good as the original PS4 in my opinion. And that's just because I wasn't a massive fan of the Pro version of the console. Same thing with the Spider-Man, unfortunately. I do like the colors. I think it's better than the actual plain black, but it's still like not that impressive. So I'm gonna put it right there. And then there was the limited edition one where they only made like 100,000 of these. Maybe it was like 200,000. I don't exactly remember how many they made of them. But I actually didn't really like the look of this one. I respected it, but as far as things go, I think it's like all the way back here as far as the actual look. But yeah, the PS4 Pro, that was definitely a step back in design. But then we got the PlayStation 5s. So for me, I think the PS5 is a good looking console. I might put it right here. It's definitely high tier good. Not amazing, but definitely high tier good. I have a PS5. I do not like the fact that the black part of it gets scratched so easy. Like I moved it into my cabinet, and I just barely bumped the edge of the cabinet on like the side of the black, and I had a scratch on it right away. And I'm like, I just opened you up. I barely touched the cabinet. There's no reason for that to happen. So that was kind of like, ugh. It wasn't like a slide or like a scratch. It was just like a little soft touch, and just it made a mark. And I was like, oh no, can't do that. So I did cover up with a gold decal, kind of make it a little more like subtle looking. I think it looks a lot better that way. So that's what I did with that one. However, while I do think that the disc version is a very good looking console, I think the discless version is the best looking console out of all the PlayStation. If you look at it as far as, you know, at the sides and stuff, while I would prefer to have the disc version, and that's the version I have because I like my physical media and stuff, I like the idea of having a higher resale value if I want to resell it at some point in the future. The discless version is just so much more symmetrical. It looks like the version they wanted to make. If you look at both versions, there's the discless version and there's the disc version, and you can see they took their discless version, the version they wanted to release, and they just kind of added a disc tray into it, and you can see that. Now, of course, that can just be my personal opinion, but that's the way it looks to me, and that's just the way I feel. But how do you guys feel about these PlayStations? Do you think I'm right with these? Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to do this own tier list for yourself, check out the link in the description below, and then send me a screenshot on my Discord or my Twitter or my Facebook or whatever. You can find all that stuff in the description below as well. But thanks again for watching, guys. If you have any personal thoughts on what you want to see me do as far as a tier list next, it doesn't have to be necessarily video game stuff, but if you think of any cool ideas, let me know in the comments below, and if I use your suggestion, I'll give you a shout out in that video. But thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later. Peace.